set of guests that have already joined us on stage. Then why don't you go and set these guys up and tell everybody what's at stake this weekend for those two.
These two guys have toured up with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series all season long. The current series point leader, he drives the Big Game Motorsports number 2. It's David Gravel.
Put your hands together for him. Thank you very much.
The Jason Johnson Racing 41 from California. How about Carson Macedo?
It's going to be a great World Finals. David, a little bit of comfort, maybe? Is comfort even the right word to describe what you've been thinking about coming to Charlotte?
Yeah, you just never know in racing, right? And until that last checkered flag flies. So, we're just focused on having a good weekend and hopefully running up front where this 2-car belongs. And Charlotte's been a good place for me, and hopefully we just continue that trend. But, it's a competitive, lot of race cars here. I heard about 45 cars here this weekend. So tonight's a big night to set up your week and makes your life a lot easier or a lot harder. So we're focused on tonight qualifying well and hopefully put us up front in a couple heat races this week.
Carson, you know what you have to do. It's pretty simple for you, so maybe not so much concern, just performance.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to perform extremely well in order for, and at this point, probably David and his team will have to have a little misfortune. I think we're 72 back. So obviously, all that's completely out of our control. And typically they, don't have very much. They seem to perform pretty well on a consistent basis. That's why they're leading the points. So you can't count on that. We're just going to do our best, put our best foot forward to make sure that we perform the best we possibly can and put the results up. And like David said, you never know until the checkered flag flies.
We promised these fans that are here with us at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big announcement before we went on air.
Off for everybody at home on Dirt Vision, yes.
I love silly season, don't
I do.
you?
I do, absolutely.
The last couple of days, the rumors have been flying on Twitter. David, I think you have an announcement you want to tell the world and maybe even especially tell Carson Macedo.
He's going high limit.
Yeah, well, you saw my post the other day. A lot of people aren't going to be happy with this, but no, I'm just kidding. I'll be back, World of Outlaws 2025. Hopefully chase another championship, get my 100 wins this year with the World of Outlaws meant a lot to me. And I've put, majority of my career in the World of Outlaws and looking forward to winning more races and chasing more championships and, trying to build my legacy and get in the record books with all these awesome guys. So, I'm excited for next year. I feel like we got a really good core guys here, really awesome 7 guys that I feel like can beat anybody any night. And, we'll just see what happens.
The announcement gets even bigger because also released today was we've always known that the Houston Tidebank Nationals was going to be a World of Outlaws show, but elevating Todd Quiring's program with the Jackson Motorplex and the Jackson Nationals, all of that pointing to very positive things as well.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, our race team and what Todd's doing, we're doing a lot of great things in sprint car racing and Todd's putting up a lot of money and hopefully there's no more floods and we could actually have a $250,000 to win race next year. And I think we got a lot of momentum behind us and, I'm just all for trying to make this sport better. Us holding the standards of these facilities, racing for the money that these teams and drivers, deserve. And I'm just trying to push the sport forward and make it better. And I'm going to speak my mind if I think there's something not right or wrong. And I'm going to put pressure on the World of Outlaws to do the same and try to be the leaders of sprint car racing like they have been. And I'm just here to work together to try to make this deal better and better every year.
Everybody World Racing Group is proud to have not only you back next year, but Houston's on the schedule once again. Carson, so obviously for sure you're likely, assuming that you and Philip decide to do the same thing, you're likely again going to be battling David for a championship in 2025. How does racing against David Gravel make you a better race car driver?
Well, I can remember years ago, David's really good friends with my cousin now through marriage, Drew Warner, and David coming out to the West Coast and staying at Drew's house and hanging out with him and the Facinos and talking to David about wanting to be on the Outlaw Tour and wanting that opportunity to be able to compete with the best drivers in the country night in, night out. And now, obviously being able to race against him for a championship, I feel like the 2 team and the 41 team elevate each other. We make each other better night in, night out. And I think that ultimately, it's been a surreal experience for me. I've always, my childhood dream was to get on the World of Outlaw Tour and try to win a championship. And I think being able to race against, really good race car drivers like Donnie and David and, this year, like David said, the depth that we have every night, I feel like inside the top 5 is absolute, gun war. Everybody's running really hard and doing their best to, putting their best foot forward to win races and perform as good as they can on a consistent basis. So it feels good when you got guys around you that are pushing you to be better and pushing you to be at that next level. And I think that, myself and the 41 team, Philip, Robbie and Adam, we've worked really hard this year. And I know that all the other teams have as well. And I think that you see that in the performance and the show that we put forward on Dirt Vision or whether you're at the track.
And I know we've hyped David up a lot, but you're mentioning your crew. What an incredible 2024 you guys have had, especially here the last couple of months. Since you and Jason Johnson Racing partnered and went full-time on the Outlaw Tour a couple of years ago, you guys have went from championship hopefuls to championship favorites and built such an incredible environment with your entire team. How is it different now than whenever you guys got together originally a couple of years ago?
Well, when I came to the team in 2021, I still had a lot to learn. I think Philip was pretty, he had just raced with David and really, they had their package pretty well sorted, but I was sort of still in that learning stages of trying to become a championship driver, figuring out that not only do you have to win races, but you also got to finish races. You got to be consistent. You got to do all the right things. And there's a lot to learn. You're putting a playbook together before you win a World of Outlaw championship. And that's why very few drivers have been able to accomplish that ultimate goal. So I feel like we've learned a lot as a team together. Like you said, we've brought on 2 new guys this year, Adam and Robbie, and they've molded into the JJR, image. And that they just have done a great job. Phil's a great leader, and he's molded them into exactly what we had, prior to that in 2023. So they're only going to get better, and I think we're only going to grow more, and I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not really sure where the camera angle is right now, but everybody sitting here sees a very distracted David Growler right now. What are you looking at over here?
That guy, he seeks all my attention all day long. That's for sure. He's a full-time job. But he's the best.
At least we're up here with the microphones, and he's over there, so we don't have the Lucia yet.
Yeah, he would steal the show.
Yeah, that was something else. Obviously, a very unique situation for both of you trying to chase down your first championship. You also want to do it for, you already mentioned, your team owner and crew chief, Philip Dietz, who's going after his, continuing the legacy of Jason Johnson. You also want to win one for Cody Jacobs, who's been doing this for a very long time as well. What would it mean for you to not only get one for yourself, but to also get one for that crew chief that wants one too?
Yeah, for everybody, right? Carson's team, my team, crew guys, right? It's all racing for their first championship, and what that is like, I don't know, right? It's something you've always chased and came up short, and like, man, maybe next year I'll have one less DNF, or maybe clean up a couple bad nights, or we'll get out of the work area a couple of these nights, and you'll have a shot, and that's what it really comes down to. And one year I was, I think, within 18 or 19 points of Brad, and we just kind of didn't perform like we should have that year, and kind of burned the tires off every night, and just didn't get on the podium or win any races that year. And last year we started off by winning the first night and adding a little bit of pressure of Brad after what happened at Devil's Bowl and stuff like that. But you just being in Carson position, that's what I've been the last 4 years. I think I've run second, 3 or 4 years in a row, and all you could do is just apply the pressure, right? And I have no idea. I know what it feels like to win the Knoxville Nationals, and that's really special and surreal. And I think the only other event that comes close to that or accomplishment is a World of Outlaws championship. Those are the 2 most elite lists in all of sprint car racing, and it's not even close. There's a long list of Kings Royal winners, and those 2 are elite company. And if I could get that done, it'd be really, really cool to check those boxes off the list.
We got to give him his props, though. He did get his 100th win this year, not only for his team owner, but for himself. He also rounded out his triple crown of sprint car racing with a crown jewel. Carson, as we take a look back at the beginning of your season, I know it's early, and we're going to have all the time in the world to look back, but this is the job of us. We have to ask you these questions. Do you look back at the Dirt Car Nationals and, oh my gosh, what if?
I remember leaving the Dirt Car Nationals thinking this is going to be a big hit regardless. And like David said, you always have those nights that you look back throughout the season and think, oh, well, I wish we would have done that different, or I wish that would have been better. But ultimately, that's the tough part about a World of Outlaws championship, right, is you got to put every night together, and every night matters. And I knew leaving there that was going to sting, and there was a chance that we could get to this point in the year and think, man, I wish we had that back. But I was thinking that every night it was not going good, So obviously I wish we would have ran better there, but we learned a lot in that process. And I think that in order to get better, unfortunately you have to go through growing pains, and I think that we did that, and I think that we were better for it when we went back to Volusia, so I'm proud of that, and I think that JJR is continuing to grow, and I think the important part for me as a driver and for I think JJR as a team and Philip and Brooke as car owners is to see that that growth over the course of the year, and I feel like we have that. We started out a little bit rocky and we got better and better, and then it was like we hit that mid-stride point of the year and we started winning races and really performing well consistently. So that's what we hope to continue.
David, one of the more interesting parts of this championship battle, we thought it was going to get close at Lincoln whenever you got upside down early on in the race. Carson was up running towards the front. You and I had a conversation at DC in February, and I specifically remember you saying one thing we need to improve on for 2024 is we need to be better in the work area. That night, Cody and the guys changed the wing, touched up a couple other things. There were a couple other nights you guys made trips to the work area this year and got back out. Are those examples of you guys making improvements in the work area in 2024, you feel like?
I think that was a little luck at Lincoln. Pretty much we only messed up the top wing. The front axle was fine. The front wing was a little crooked, but not bad. But, somebody was looking after us that night. We had so many cautions and red flags and gave us opportunities to move up in the field. But, the one that I look at that I regret the most is Atomic going for the lead with Sheldon. Misjudged the lap car, drove into him. And then we literally needed about 5 more seconds in the work area to get back out there. And instead we went 4 or 5 laps down and got back out there and, ran, 19th or 21st that night. So, that's what sticks out to me the most. I feel like in the work area we've been pretty solid, but just like they're growing pains this year, starting the season with 2 new crew guys, right? They're not going to be doing their jobs to the best of their abilities to start off, right? You could work in the shop and tighten bolts, but being at the racetrack and actually out there performing and doing well in the work area, know where everything's at and making sure you're not putting torsion bars in backwards or bleeders in backwards, right? Like that takes time for us. We've never had the same team 2 years in a row. We have every year we lose a crew guy and we're going to lose another one this year going into next year. So it's like, those are just learning things and building things. And once you find guys that work well with each other, you really want to try your best to keep them around because that's one of our biggest problems in this sport is the workforce. There's just not a lot of people knocking on your door. And if they are, they're rookies and they don't really have a resume behind them.
So many questions, so little time. And speaking of time, it's time for you guys to go to work. You got a driver's meeting to attend. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Carson Macedo, he is the chaser. Who's he chasing? This guy, David Gravel. It's the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Championship Series points that begins to take a different look tonight.